Scott Cawthon. This is a name that either you haven't heard in a while or have heard recently. Scott Cawthon is known for the creation of the game Five Nights at Freddy's. It's very known what he has done and what he has done over the years with creating this game. And as much as back in my FNAF days, as much as they were like fucking cringy and shit, I still appreciate him for creating FNAF. It was definitely a game that changed a lot of things, made a lot of my favorite YouTubers actually really popular. So I'm glad in a way that FNAF did happen. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to talk about what recently happened to Scott Cawthon. Everything up from, of course, him doing the not so good, to him responding, to him eventually retiring from the franchise as a whole. This is what I'm going to get into today, so strap in and let's dive in. Another thing before I begin is that I am part of the LGBT, and I can relate to a lot of the people who were mad during this whole conflict. And also, I live in New Zealand, so I know jack all about American politics in general. So, don't expect me to be an expert, and I'm gonna try to more not go into the specifics, mainly because, as I said, I don't know much about American politics. So, I can't really say anything on that part. But essentially, what happened earlier this week was that Scott Cawthon had his payments, his votes and shit leaked out. And it turned out he had voted for some anti-LGBT and other, not okay campaigns out there. And, you can have your political views and whatnot, but a lot of people were shocked about this, considering there is probably a big majority of the fan base who is part of the LGBT in some sort of way. And so, when this got released, a lot of people were saddened, and a lot of people were angry, and all this other stuff. And here's my downright opinion about this. When I heard, I was more in denial. I was hoping that he didn't actually, wasn't actually homophobic or transphobic or any of this other sort of like racist or whatever was accused against him. I was damn right hoping that he wasn't, because I thought Scott was really influential, and I really liked his works, and I really appreciated him for creating Five Nights at Freddy's. So he coming out about this was just kind of upsetting, and I was in denial. And of course, I was a little bit pissed off because I was like, why? But I wasn't overly pissed off. And here's another thing. I personally thought that during this whole thing, Scott didn't deserve to give out an apology. He deserved to give the LGBT a response, because why is he doing something like this? Why is he saying why is he donating to these people? Is he actually homophobic or transphobic? And so, pretty much, time goes past, and people had a right to be mad. People were valid to be mad about this. But you will always have people who will always take it up a notch, who will go too far with some shit like this. And that's what happened. Pretty much a bunch of people started sending Scott death threats and threats to his family and doxing him and all this other stuff. It was horrible that shit like this was even happening to Scott. But unfortunately, it did, and I don't agree with it at all. Mainly because I think harassment, no matter what the person has done, harassment doesn't solve anything. You have a right to be mad, but you don't have a right to harass someone and their family, or dox them, or do any of this, really shitty stuff. So, eventually, Scott released a response, which we wanted, And then we later know later that the infamous retirement post was posted. And I just want to say that as much as I, was upsetting to hear that, maybe Scott was homophobic, I thought that, his response was pretty good, and I think it was pretty clear that he really didn't, he wasn't really homophobic in any way. He didn't really care what people were and whatnot. Which, I thought the response, was pretty good. And so, I was personally happy with it. And it was pretty sad that even though after responding to it, he still wanted to retire. But I think for him, he can finally get a break, He's not gone from FNAF forever, as he says in the retirement post, but he won't be the head man that we've followed for a majority of the time now. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say in this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.